Why is it important that we should desire to be a person of influence?
Everything changed when digital came along. And up until digital, you had to be doing business in a local geography. You had to be a local person. If you're an accountant, you're in competition with maybe a few accountants on the local. You've got a local area of maybe 50 or 100,000 people who live around your area, and that's your market, right? That's where your patch is. And then digital came along and it basically said you can do business with anyone in the world, but anyone else can also come and do business with your people as well. The geography thing doesn't matter anymore. And essentially, we used to niche the business based on this local geography. And then suddenly it's like, how do I grow my business, or how do I find traction within an industry now? The thing that I noticed was this personal brand, and the fact that personal brand engines, social media, was amplifying these personal brands. And I started to see it everywhere. I started to see that Steve Jobs had actually had cut through in a massive industry using his personal brand. And Elon Musk is having cut through right now in a massive industry using his personal brand. When you take an example like Twitter, you'll have Tim Cook, who's been the CEO for just over 10 years, and he'll have twice as many followers as Apple, which is considered to be one of the most important brands. You'll see Richard Branson with 12 million followers versus Virgin with 250,000 followers. So you start to realize that people really buy into the person behind the business, and then they'll buy the products and the services, and they'll buy into the products and the services. And however humans are wired, we really resonate this way. This is how we're built. This is how we're programmed. We want to buy from businesses when we feel like we know the person. One of the activities I do when I'm talking to a group is I will say, without looking, what color is the G in the Google logo? And I'm curious, actually, do you know off the top of your head what color it is?
No, I'm going to guess, and I'm going to say green.
It's actually always blue, and it always has been blue. But our human brains don't really connect with logos in the same way that we connect with faces, right? So it's the people and the faces that really capture us. And then we're excited about the business and the brand. So I started telling people the fastest way to grow your business is to build this key person of influence brand and then transfer that positive energy onto a business brand that can take on a life of its own. But it all starts with that personal brand. Some of the reasons that you should be a key person of influence is inbound opportunities, right? You don't want to be chasing opportunities. You want people to identify and know who you are and what you stand for. And one of the big things that happens when you become a key person of influence is you make a switch from functionality to vitality. Functionality is the ability to perform a task. Vitality has two definitions, which is irreplaceable and life force. What happens when you become that key person of influence is you get to work as an irreplaceable life force within your business and within your industry. And you tend to get energized by the work, and you get energized by the things you're invited to do, as opposed to being worn down by that stuff. One of the main reasons is just the type of work you end up doing is the fun stuff, the stuff you feel like you're born to do.
Okay, so you sold me. I need to be this person. I've just woken up to 2022 and just realized this with your words kind of just tickling my brain. Say, okay, what are the traits that make up people who have this special thing that you're talking about, the key people of interest? What is it that is common to all of them?
So what they're doing is they're doing 5 things really well. And these are the 5 things that were common to every one of the ones that I was working with. It's important to do them in a particular order as well. So the first thing is that they are phenomenally good at pitching. So they know how to pitch their own value. They know how to pitch the value of what they're doing. They know how to enroll people into new ways of thinking and behaving. The true test as to whether you're pitching or not is, have you enrolled someone into a new way of thinking or behaving? The second thing that all key people of influence do is they publish content. They often have books, but they will have podcasts and videos and blogs and articles, and they're prolific in their output. They make it very easy for you to deep dive on their content. If you want to spend 7 hours in a row watching things, reading things, listening to things, it's very easy to do that. So any of that stuff is published content. The third thing is what I would call the product ecosystem. You mentioned it earlier. The way key people of influence tend to behave is, if you think about the Eiffel Tower in Paris, it doesn't actually make a lot of money. What makes a huge amount of money is the cafes, restaurants, and hotels that are positioned around the Eiffel Tower. So the way key people of influence behave is very much they become the Eiffel Tower for a product ecosystem. So they're not selling themselves, they're not selling their time for money, but what they do is they position products and services and businesses around themselves so that all they have to do is just show up and tell stories and have fun. And as if by magic, everything that's going on around them just gets lifted. The fourth one is profile. So they're fastidious about their profile. They guard their reputation. They amplify their message on multiple platforms. They want to be in traditional media. They want to be in social media. They want to win awards. They want to be on stages and platforms. All of that is profile building activities. However, there's a catch to that. And the truly great key people of influence are never chasing the spotlight. They're not saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. They're always becoming a spotlight and saying, look at that. that, check that thing out, have a look at what's going on over here. So even though they show up on platforms, the truly great ones divert the attention from themselves onto a trend or onto an idea. And then the final thing is partnerships. So they access resources beyond their control. So rather than trying to save up the money to do something, they partner with people who already have the money and then they do it with them. Rather than necessarily getting 1 million followers, they might find someone who already has 1 million followers and partner with them to amplify the message. Maybe they don't have to develop a hot product. Maybe they partner with someone who's already got the hot product but needs more attention on the hot product. In summary, pitch, publish, product, profile, partnership, the 5 Ps that that are covered.